I know you guys have been scouring the web trying to find those answers to who's gonna win every single match at WrestleMania this year, and look no further. I've been blessed by the Holy Spirit of Wrestling, Hulk Hogan, with the answers to this match card, and I'm here to tell you them. So, let's start off with the World Heavyweight Championship match, Jey Uso versus Gunther. This has been a very dry feud, and you've heard about me complain about it before. But I think it got a lot better once they started introducing Jimmy Uso and Familia into the conversation. And I mean, the whole bloody spot and everything was great. And I hope to see that they do more with this, with Gunther being the big Tyrannosaurus Rex that he's advertised to be when this match comes around, maybe tomorrow or tonight on Raw, I guess. But I feel like it just doesn't make sense to have all these matches with Jey Uso and Gunther, all these losses for Jey Uso, just to have him go to WrestleMania and lose again. So I do think Jey Uso is going to go over in this match. I do hope that Jey Uso is going to go over in this match. However, anything can happen. This ain't the main event. It's possible that Gunther wins because they don't have to send you home happy on this match. He could win. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, this has been a pretty decent build-up. I feel like Naomi's heel work hasn't been as good as it should have been, I guess, and the whole caution tape attire has been a little cringe. But I don't think it makes sense to have Naomi win this match because this is Jade Cargill's first huge singles match in the WWE, and you can't start her off super cold in the WWE with a loss to someone like Naomi. So I do think Jade Cargill's going over, although it's possible again that shenanigans happen, but we're gonna stay with the regular answer. I do think Jay's going over. Next match, War Raiders versus the New Day. This one, I don't know where it came from. The New Day have been doing some great work, but it was kind of like a quick feud. They had one match on Raw last week, and now suddenly, they're on WrestleMania instead of the Street Profits, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Motor City Machine Guns, which is a little weird to me because I feel like that match should have been on the card if you were going to have one of these tag matches on the card. But again, I feel like this one's a really obvious one. The New Day have been trying to gain momentum as heels, and if you cut off their momentum right now by having them lose, I mean, you've just ruined the entire heel turn, the entire part of Vicky. So I think the New Day are obviously going over against the War Raiders in this match and becoming the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Now, it would have been really cool if this was a mask versus mask match, and they might still do that. They still got a couple shows until WrestleMania. But I feel like this is a match just for sort of like a nostalgia match. Oh, look at Rey Mysterio. He's so good. He can still do all the luchador stuff that everybody likes. So I think Rey Mysterio is going over in this match, and then we will finally get to see who's behind that mask of El Grande Americano. Luckily for you, I already know who it is. It is obviously Vladimir Kozlov. He is the El Grande Americano. And he's coming back to WWE as part of America Made after they've reformed him from his communist ways. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Now, this match is probably one of the only matches on the card where I don't care who wins the match. LA Knight is amazing. He's from Hagerstown, Maryland. Despite what they say on WWE, he's from Hagerstown. So he's a hometown hero for me. And I would love to see him win. But Jacob Fatu has one of the best characters in WWE right now with his the entire time. So it would be really awesome to see him win. They maybe go into a feud with Solo for the United States title. But my prediction is that Jacob Fatu is going to go over, and Solo's going to start feuding with him for the title, angry that he won a title before Solo did, and we get to that, maybe SummerSlam, maybe Money in the Bank kind of style match. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. On the absolute opposite side of what I just said, this is one of those matches where I absolutely do care who wins. If Charlotte Flair wins this match, I think there's going to be riots across Las Vegas because nobody wants to see her win. And I know some people might not like it, but that's really fun in wrestling. When you really care about someone who's going to win and you don't want to see another person win, it makes the match a little bit more high stakes than something like LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, where you're like, both these guys are great, both these guys deserve the US title. I don't care who wins. Now, it is possible that they try and get heat and they do have Charlotte win. I know people are going to be worried about, oh, she's going to get buried or blah, 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 blah. But if Charlotte wins, Tiffany's winning it back pretty quickly, and then we're kind of moving on with her life. But I think they should give Tiffany that WrestleMania moment, and I do think that Tiffany's going to win this match. Now on to probably the least anticipated match in WrestleMania. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So, I don't understand what happened, but I think it is a crime that neither the Women's United States or the Women's Intercontinental Championships are being defended on the biggest show of the year. If you want to make those titles look good, defending them on WrestleMania would be a very good idea. I understand that there's a lot of singles matches out here, but at least one of them being on the card would be good, especially how over Chelsea is right now. That would have been great. You could have even had Piper Niven turn on Chelsea and have that whole storyline, but I digress. Bayley and Lyra versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. I'm going to say that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez retain these titles. I don't feel like they've held these titles for long enough, and I feel like these titles need two pretty good women in the ring to hold them, who have a lot of chemistry together and who aren't just some random tag team. And I really don't want to see Lyra Valkyria with both the Intercontinental and Tag Team Championship, because that means neither of them will be defended as frequently. So I do think they're going to keep the titles with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Now, I feel like this is probably the most underrated match on the card. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. I've seen a lot of hate for the match, but me personally, I've really liked the build that they've been doing, and they're two great wrestlers, and I know they're going to have a great match at WrestleMania, so I don't see why people are hating on it so much. So, I know it feels like, it's kind of like we couldn't fit Drew McIntyre anywhere else, but he's still super good, so we're going to put him on the card with Damian Priest. But it's still going to be a great match, and especially since they're having the Sin City street fight or whatever. Let's hope they don't get freaky. It's going to be good, and they're going to have a lot of good moments in the match. I do think Drew McIntyre is obviously going over in this match, because this feels like a very we needed to get Drew McIntyre on the card match, and it would be very weird if he lost the match on this card. And I think they're going to have him go challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. I know he can make a great story with Jey Uso, and hopefully beat Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship a couple months down the line. Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta. Now, this match is probably the most unpredictable on the entire card. The only thing I can say certainly is that neither Braun Breaker or Finn Balor are walking out with that title. Braun Breaker's held it for very long, and he's had a good reign with it. He's not going to win it. And Finn Balor just doesn't have that overness that he needs to carry that title. So it's obviously either going to be Dominic or Penta. Now, between the two, it's very difficult to decide. Dominic has been doing some of the best heel work in WWE right now, and he really does deserve that title shot. But you also want to keep that momentum of Penta rolling to get him really over as a WWE guy instead of an AEW guy. But for me personally, I would rather see Dominic Mysterio win this title. Penta has a whole bunch of time to go and win the title later, maybe start a feud with Dominic, win that title down the line at SummerSlam. But I feel like Dominic really deserves this WrestleMania moment after all the work he's been putting in and getting so over in the WWE that they're going to give it to him. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This one's a really tough one, because you would think, last year, and I think the year before that, they had Logan Paul lose so that, their other guys could look good. Oh, sorry. He won at WrestleMania 40, but in singles matches, you know, a lot of the times on big shows, they like to have that Logan Paul lose to make everybody feel good because everybody hates Logan Paul. But I think this rivalry is going to continue into Backlash. I think Logan Paul is going to do some shenanigans to win the match. Continue into Backlash. You know, he's the younger star, and he's pretty good despite how little he wrestles, how much he gets to practice, blah, 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 blah. I think he's going to go over on AJ, although I'd love to see AJ get his WrestleMania moment because I feel like AJ hasn't really had that great match yet. You know, he had that one with The Undertaker, but that was WrestleMania 36, which barely counts as a WrestleMania. So, I would love to see AJ go over, but I am going to predict that Logan Paul is winning this match. Now, for the final non-main event match, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Now, I would love to see Io win the title. Of course, retain the title, because she's one of the best wrestlers on planet Earth right now. But unfortunately, I feel like if they wanted her to win the title, they would have waited until WrestleMania to have her win the title and give her that big moment on the stage where she's going to win it. So I don't think she's going to retain at WrestleMania. And with the storyline going on with Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, I do feel Bianca's going to turn heel, win the WWE Championship, and then go into a feud with Jade Cargill because, you know, she didn't care that she got attacked, she wasn't there to help, blah, 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 blah. And maybe SummerSlam match over there, we'll see who wins. But I do think Bianca Belair is going to win that match. Now for our two main events. First one is Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. The real question in this match is, will Paul Heyman turn on both Roman Reigns and CM Punk and align himself with Seth freaking Rollins? Now, because this is the main event, I know they want that big moment, and this doesn't have a title attached to it, so they don't have that cop-out moment with somebody going over and getting that big title celebration. So they can't have this match be predictable. So what I'm thinking is Paul Heyman does turn on both of them and aligns himself with Seth Rollins, because that creates that moment of, oh my god, Paul Heyman turned on his two best friends in the entire world. Whoa, blah, 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 blah. And we get some great promo work with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins together. It'd all be around great. I think Seth Rollins is going over in that match. He's one of the most underrated wrestlers, maybe in WWE history, and he really deserves that WrestleMania main event win. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Now, I've seen a lot of people online like, this isn't a 5-star match. These guys would be fried in New Japan or AEW. Dude, who cares? This story's great. John Cena turned heel. Biggest thing that's happened in wrestling since Hulk Hogan turned heel. As long as this match is not boring, it's gonna be a good match. If it's a slogfest and John Cena is looking old and tired and everything, of course it's not gonna be great. As long as this match is not boring, it's gonna be a good match. Although I do think John Cena has to go over here. He doesn't have that much time left, and unless you want to give him a 2-month reign at the end of his retirement tour, he has to win here. So I think John Cena's going over. Does he throw away the belt, make the spinner belt come back? I don't know. Maybe it's possible he does because the fans hated that belt and he wants to bring it back just to piss him off. Maybe he doesn't because he knows the fans want him to bring back the spinner belt and he doesn't want to do anything for the fans. Maybe he throws it away and doesn't even have a title because he's just crazy like that. But I do think John Cena is going to win the WWE title at this event. Tell me what you guys think about WrestleMania, how excited you are for it. I've been kind of 50-50. Some of these matches are really good, and then you have other matches like the War Raiders versus the New Day, and Lyra Valkyria and Bayley versus the Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez. So I've been more excited than people have said about it, because I've heard people say, this doesn't feel like WrestleMania, this feels like a SummerSlam, blah, 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 blah. It still feels like WrestleMania, it still feels good. It's been kind of 50-50. Tell me how you feel about it. See you guys next time. Bye.